Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeff with a late night edition of the Schwamil. If you're not familiar with the Schwab Mill, it's a show that traditionally happens on the weekend. Traditionally happens on Saturdays, Saturday afternoons at 1:30. I can even post that here. Give me one sec, so you can see some information about that below. And what we do is we listen to your pronunciation files and we give some suggestions to help you sound a little bit more natural in American English. We're trying to expand your pronunciation. That's our goal. We're here to craft your accent, and of course, also answer any questions you may have about what sounds natural in American English, whether it's vocabulary related, grammar related, anything and everything. Now, if this is your first time in our stream, welcome. Let me know in the chat if this is your first time, or if you're watching on the replay, let me know if this is the first time. And if you're not a newcomer at all, but you've been with us 50 times, 100 times, let us know as well. We would love to keep track of everything. Now, I want to give you a general idea about how this works. Ooh, I have not posted the link. Shame on me. But if you go to the video description, you will see how to send in your own files. And basically, it's going to be through this document, which I'm about to share with you. Everything's a little bit slow today because I was helping out some students and it took me a moment. Push this aside. No. A little bit more over here. There we go. That's a better place, right? Hello to Showq checking in. Showq, what time is it there? Oh my gosh. Saudi's like an 9 hours. Saudi's one of the I call it like the awkward time zones from a US perspective because it's the 12-hour time zones I can work with on students relatively easily. Our evenings, the mornings, but like 9 hours is always kind of a weird time zone. It's hard to navigate that with students. Let me know what time it is where you are, because it's definitely relatively late night here, 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. But anyways, this is the document where you can send in your pronunciation files, so we'll be able to see them. I'll put it into the chat box as well, because I see that I didn't quite have time to. I did have chance though to listen to the files briefly just to make sure everything's okay. Okay, so you can go to this document here and you'll get this access. You're going to see that what's happening up here is going to see, the directions up top, choose one of the options below, visit vocaroo.com. If you're not familiar with vocaroo.com, yep, and there it is. Show revealing 4:09. Why are you awake? Oh my gosh. How are you awake? But it's great to have you. I'm super impressed. But yeah, this is vocaroo.com, what you're seeing here. And you're going to see there's that big fat microphone button. So I can click this, make a real quick recording, end it if it gives me the chance to. It's going to save it. And then you'll see the option to save and share. It gives me a link. Take the link, post it right over in here in the document. So it's as simple as that for recording your audio, whether you're on a phone, whether you're on your desktop, but you have a headset, tablet, if your tablet has a microphone, all different options to send your files. And again, we do this every single Saturday traditionally, but today's just a little bit special. Okay, it's also helpful for me, as you can see, people have included their actual sentences or the phrases that they're saying, so that way I can make sure that if we do run into any audio issues, technical issues, or unfortunate situations where I can't understand something, this can act as our guide. Okay. But that's kind of the general gist of it. Again, as we go through this, you can, of course, leave some questions about any other things besides pronunciation that you may wonder. But I think that's my whole spiel, all the things I kind of need to touch on. So enough blabbering for me. Let's kind of just get an idea of what we're doing. Let's listen to your audio files. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? Okay, so let's now take a look. Oh, we got a first timer. Wakana, yeah, that's great to see you. just had a class with her. It was great. I'm so excited to see you. I saw you sent an audio file too. She's also joined us in a Telegram group. So many great things. Okay, we'll talk more about the Telegram group in a minute. But let's get started with some files. So you can see I have everyone's loaded here. I think I have time. If you are new and you have not sent a file, I think I do still have some time if you want to add one. But I would say definitely hurry up because our goal is to get through all of these in a timely fashion. I don't have a particular order with these. I've scanned them, but I don't remember the specific issues for everybody. So let's take a look at our first one. I do remember this. Showq, I believe this is you. I want to hear this one more time. You have a much more pleasant singing voice than I do. I will spare you any of that. I especially want to focus on that first part. I think it actually sounds pretty good. Like one day you're gonna have to tell her. I like what you're doing with the pitches here. Okay, like one day you're gonna have to. Do you hear that drop off in pitch? Right. One day you're gonna have to. One. Notice that difference between where we are in pitch for one and where we are in pitch for that middle section. And that's a very great strategy for getting that more natural feel. English loves contrast. English loves it when, there's clear highs and there's clear lows and there's a lot of movement in between them. So I like what you're doing here. One day you're gonna have to. One day you're gonna have to. So that's a huge difference. I really like it. I also like what you're doing there at the reduction. Do you hear? Tell her. One day you're gonna have to tell her. Okay. So in case you're having a sentence, this is our sentence. I want to just put it in the chat for us. Oh, I forget. I always forget to tell her. It's this one. No. I'll be back with that one. I promise. Oh, everyone did 5-second files. Ugh. This is the one. Okay. Everyone did 5-second files, so it's really confusing. Okay. This is the sentence that we're taking a look at. One day you're gonna have to tell her. Want to pay attention to that reduction again. Tell her. So notice again, what happens with pronouns a lot. Okay, so if you have a pronoun, for instance, like this is an important point, so I want to make sure I get a little bit big on this. Okay, so let's talk really quick about pronouns. So when you have pronouns that start with H's, so for instance, like her, him, even like he, you'll even see this with pronouns that start with like th, like they or them. What you're often going to find is that these first letters get removed. So like the th will get dropped, the h will get dropped. So instead of, for instance, saying tell her, it often just becomes tell her. Instead of saying tell them, it becomes tell them in situations like that. Super frequent situation. Okay. It's just kind of something to be paying attention to. I like what you're doing with the reduction here. I think you're getting that. Tell her. That's great. Really like that movement. Yeah. I really don't have a whole lot to critique here. I think in general sounded pretty good. One day you're going to have to tell her. Yeah. I can't really think of anything. One day you're going to have to tell her. One thing that you may also hear with native speakers saying that phrase, instead tell her, we have that kind of like heavy falling intonation. You may see people using rising intonation because it's kind of unfinished. So instead tell her, you may hear more tell her. One day you meant to tell her. So that's just, it's not even really a correction. It's just an alternative that you may often hear. Tell her. So you get kind of that shift up, right? But yeah, it's not even necessary to do that. It's just kind of something to be aware of. Showq, I like this file. I like your singing too. So let's get more of that. We got the singer has competition. That's basically what I'm getting from this. A great first file to start us off. I really like that. Let's take a look at our next file. Thank you for sending that. I can't do this without you. Great way to start. Let's see who is next. We'll kind of jump around here. A 2-second file, super short. I'm curious to see who this is. Okay, it sounds like Zobayda again. She sent us the file. No. I did it again. Why every time? Can't break an omelet without breaking some eggs. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. I feel like this phrase has been appearing in a lot of our live streams recently. Am I just making things up? If you guys have been watching some, let me know if you recognize this sentence. Relatively common English phrase. Um, that the very first thing that jumps out to me is going to be some eggs. You want eggs to stand out more in terms of your stress. Some eggs, some eggs. Just try to like raise that pitch a little higher. Because right now it sounds a little flat. It's like some eggs, some eggs. It's a little bit too flat versus some eggs, some eggs. Lower your pitch on some, raise your pitch on eggs. It's going to help it stand out more. You want eggs to be a heavier stress. Some eggs versus some eggs. You can't make an omelet. You can't make an omelet. That's how I'm hearing you say that, right? You can't make an omelet. Um, yeah, it's. I think your pitch pattern is going to be a little bit unusual here. So we'll talk about something I would recommend. Ciao Danny, ma dai. Sono le ore piccole, no? Why is Denny still up? Oh my gosh, everyone's awake. When do you people sleep? I'm doing okay, man. How are you? You can't make an omelet because I think it's kind of similar to the previous audio we just listened with Showq. I think you could experiment with some intonation here. So instead of omelet, I would probably actually do a little bit of rising there. Omelet, omelet. You can't make an omelet. You can't make an. It's something like that. You can't make an omelet, or you can't make an omelet. I would play around with those patterns there, but I probably personally would not read it as you can't make an omelet. That sounds a little bit too flat. Can't make an omelet versus you can't make it. You can't make an omelet. You can't make an omelet. So I would maybe put actually my heaviest stress on can't. You can't make an omelet. You can't make an omelet. And I would really, again, I think I've probably said it before for this sentence. So I would put this into Youglish. If you're not familiar with what Youglish is, it's a website that basically you type in a phrase and then it scans all of YouTube in theory to find audio samples of that. Okay, so it's a super powerful pronunciation tool. Not just for English, by the way, for many languages. I use it for Italian every when I have time to study. I think so. It's a super useful tool, but I would definitely type in that phrase. Denny, I'm glad to hear that. That's good. Denny just got home from the discoteca, no? You too old for that? Are you still young enough for that, Denny? But yeah, Youglish is a super helpful tool pronunciation wise. That would really recommend for this phrase. But again, I would say that as you can't make an omelet without breaking some. And then that second half again a little bit flat again on your pitches. Without breaking some eggs. Like I feel like without break and eggs are almost all at the same level, pitch level. Without breaking some eggs, without breaking some eggs. I think that sort of movement, breaking some eggs, breaking some. Notice that drop, 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 breaking some eggs, and then eggs gives you your chance to go back up. Okay. So I think the biggest piece of advice I'm going to have for this audio file would be playing around with pitches, experimenting with them, getting some incorporating more lower pitches because that, especially that second half sound a little bit flat. Yeah. Yeah, so those would be my big suggestions. Oh my gosh, Denny is a young buck. Oh man. I remember when I was 20 years old. Danny, you have your whole life ahead of you, man. That's great. You have fun. You do that 2 a.m., 3 a.m. thing. That's wild. I also want to hear breaking. Breaking. This is actually something I talked about in one of my recent videos. Talking about stress. So I definitely encourage you, if you go to my channel and you look at recent videos, I just put out one this week talking about stress, and not just about stress at a sentence level, but even stress for individual words, because when you have words in English, this is an important point. So I want you guys to see me really good. I'm just gonna see me nice, big. Let me bring myself up. Where am I? There I am. Okay. So like stress. Obviously, sentence level stress is important. Sentence level stress is the difference between saying something like "it is" versus "it is." You hear the difference in stress there. First time stressing it is. Second time stressing it is. These are stress is a super important concept for us. Okay, but another thing that you just want to consider is that stress isn't even just about individual words. It's also about, I mean, it's not even individual words. It's not just about sentences. It's also talking about individual words as well. So, for instance, if you have a word that has more than one syllable, one of those syllables is going to have heavy stress. Conversely, one of those other syllables are not going to have heavy stress. And this has a huge impact on your sound. A lot of languages, what they do is they treat every syllable almost equally. You look at a language, for instance, like Japanese or a lot of your Romance languages, um, every syllable is almost getting the same amount of emphasis, in terms of length of time. Okay. There's still stress, don't get me wrong, but in terms of length of time, your syllables aren't changing a whole lot. Whereas in English, um, let's take a longer word. I think the example I used in the video was the word independent. Independent. So like pen, pen is your stressed syllable. So that's going to be your strongest. Independent. So when I say all the other syllables, the in, the in, all of those, I'm going to say those, like three of those other syllables, in the same amount of time as I say pen. Independent. Independent. Okay. So because they're reduced, they're not as strong. So reduced syllables, you're going to say faster. You're going to make them weaker. You're going to keep the pitch lower. It's not independent. Independent. Like that's way too flat and every syllable is too equal. We don't want that to happen. Okay. So you want to make sure your stress syllable is the one that's standing out. It's that higher pitch. Everything else is made weaker. So for instance, when I am listening to this audio file here, let's go take a look at that again. Breaking. I feel like with breaking, you're giving equal weight almost to both syllables. Breaking, like this is true for pitch. Your pitches for both syllables sound about equal. Breaking, and also for length, the length also feels about equal. What I would recommend for the ing at, I would say, hey, could we get that a little lower? And could we also do that a little faster? So like I said, breaking, more breaking without breaking. Okay, so really weakening that ing sound a little bit, I think would give you a more natural sound. Okay, but those would just be my recommendations. I'm going to give you guys back your screen. I need to take a quick water break. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Liking the pronunciation advice so far? Things I'm missing? Things that you want me to talk about? Let me know. But also, you can help me out by doing this. By the way, guys, make sure you take a cookie break. That is my cup for you for today. I'm trying to also prepare some timestamps for us. So we have just done 2 videos, 2 audio files. Our next audio file is going to be right at dum 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 dum. I'm just making some notes for myself in my file. So, if you're watching the stream and you want to help me out a little bit, 13, you can help me keep track of when the times are. 13, we are ready. Who was our first one? Showq was first. Showq was first. My Google Doc is not liking these little adjustments I'm making. Not liking it at all. Got to figure out what to do about that. Let's see who our next file is. I'll share my screen again. If you guys are inside on your Friday night, what's happening this weekend? Let me know some of your weekend plans, guys. Like I said, we're doing some traveling here, so we're about to head up to. There is a lake. It's a huge lake. You can't see the other side of it. It's one of the Great Lakes in the U.S. Called Lake Erie. We're going up there this weekend to visit a friend's house, but I want to know what your weekend plans are. Hit me up in the chat. If you're watching this in the replay, let me know there. Let's see who is. This is a 5-second file. Let's 5-second file, 3-second file. I'm going to take a look at the 3-second one. So much anger in this one. So we're at 21 precisely. This is Marcos. Just going to make a quick note about that. Trying to help you guys out with them timestamps. Okay. But I always lose the files. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Did not give us the file, so let me type that in for you guys so you can see that. There should be some commas and things in there, but that's all right. Have your cake and eat it too. This is our sentence. Can't have your cake and eat it too. So you're giving me 3 stresses. Do you guys know what words are being stressed? I'll play it again twice. See if you can identify what words are being stressed in this audio file. Okay, could you hear what the stresses were? You can't. It's a pretty heavy can't, right? I would indicate that as a stress. Have your cake. I would also indicate cake as a stress as well. And eat it too. Two is also stress. Two is very commonly, two is one of those words that when you see it in a sentence, you can generally assume it's getting stress. Doesn't always work out that way. But if you're not sure where to place stress in a sentence, two is a very common word for stress. Just a note. You can't have your cake. I would honestly take off the stress on cake. You can't have your cake. You can't have your cake. Like, have your cake. So like 3 steps down, 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 down. Can't have your cake. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Yeah, so instead of 3 stresses, I personally would probably push for 2. I think it's going to let you flow a little bit more because if you have 3, this is again, it's not a super long sentence. So if you have 3, it's going to make you a little bit choppier. It's not as fluid. See how choppy it is? You can't have your cake and eat it too versus you can't have your cake and eat it too. Just lets you flow a little bit more, right? I want to pay attention to 2 a little bit for that ooh sound. To your placement sounds a little high. I feel like I'm getting like ooh versus oh. Can you hear a difference between ooh and oh? This is an issue of placement. If you're not sure what placement is, no, just kidding. But it is a super, super, super helpful concept. Not all teachers like it, but for me, I think it's a game changer in terms of how you view languages. Different languages are projecting sounds from different spots in the body. Okay, this shouldn't. I think if this is a new concept for you, I think it's something that might make a lot of sense. You can consider one thing I often find with students is that I was teaching mouth position and students were doing perfect mouth position, but the sound was still weird. So for instance, I would say e, and my students would be doing like e. The mouth position is very similar for both of those, but the sound's pretty different, right? Especially when you have words across an entire sentence. So I was really puzzled. I was like, how do I explain this difference? They're doing everything right, but the sound still isn't quite natural. And then we encountered placement, and placement is again all about where you're projecting from. And one thing that we'll see with American English placement is a lot of times the sound is being projected from a lower position. If I do E, E, my whole head is kind of shaking. It's doing a lot of vibration. It's a little uncomfortable. My teeth are like vibrating. It's weird. Um, versus Eh, Well, now I'm not getting any vibration in my head at all. All that vibration is at my throat level and lower. And I'll be honest, if you are able to shift your placement to a lower position, and if you are able to consistently get more breath through your throat, if you're able to do those two things consistently on the sentence level for every sentence you say, that will automatically help you achieve a more natural sound in American English. Guaranteed, if you're able to do that consistently. Um, so going back to our example here with the word to, let me bring that back. I'm here two. So I do feel like we're a little high there. Ooh versus oh, to. So again, to. And if that shifts, if you can hear the shift, but you're like, Jeff, how do I replicate this? How am I able to do that? Well, there are some quick exercises that you can do. And they're not exercises that I would say, hey, everyone gets them the first time. Like, no, it doesn't work out that way. This will let you know how well you can identify pitch and how well you can produce pitch. Because for some people, it's hard. Maybe you're not used to lowering your pitch. Maybe you're not used to raising your pitch. You know, um, so you can do exercise like this. We're going to say two. We're going to say it 5 times, and we're going to move it though. So the first time we're going to be up here, and then the last time we're going to try to work our way down to like around here. So again, like two, 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 two. Can you hear that difference from where we started versus where we ended? Again, two, 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 two. Can you hear how that goes down? You can also go up, right? So you can start loading and rise. It's like two, 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 two. You can do both. It's like two, 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 two. It's like things like that. You can practice that. You can also take off the pauses. Just make it continuous. Like two, two, two. As it might sound silly, it might feel weird, but if you're not used to placement, I would really encourage you to do those little exercises just to understand what it feels like when your sound is down here, or what it feels like when your sound is up here. Or maybe you're like, oh man, I get stuck. Maybe I can only do like 2 steps down, like ooh, 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 ooh. No, so I'm just saying the same pitch over and over again. Maybe that's you, and that's okay, you know. But realize that that's what's happening. Understand that you are not reaching those lower pitches, that you're getting stuck. So that way you can start listening, you know, to lower pitches more. And then the more you listen to them, the more you notice it, the more you can incorporate it into your own speech. Because these aren't necessarily things that are going to immediately change. These things may take time, and that's okay. Just something to be aware of. I do want to play the rest of Marcos's file. Give me one moment. Yeah, so again, I would remove a stress. I would try to get the placement a little lower on two, and I think those have pretty big impacts on how this sounds. Thank you so much for sending this file. I do appreciate it. And just a note too that maybe you're watching us for the first time. Maybe you're watching us for the 1,000th time. We haven't done this 1,000 times, but maybe you've watched the replay 1,000 times. And you're like, oh man, I find this really helpful, but I don't feel comfortable sending my own audio file. Everyone here sounds so good, which they do. I do think that people that send us files are, speaking English at a very high level. But that if you have pronunciation or pronunciation question, or you want to get some feedback, you don't have to speak like the people here. If you're a beginner, able to keep up with us and listening, but maybe you feel like your accent's heavier than other people, cool, send us your file. We want your speaking, because whatever you have to contribute is helpful. Everyone has things that they're working on for pronunciation, and when we do these, when I'm giving feedback for people, even if it's not you, you can still take this information and apply it to aspects of your own speech. So, by not sharing a file with us, you're not just not helping yourself, you're also not helping other people too. So just kind of something to consider there. We want everyone's files. This is not a competition. We're here to help. So get us your audio. We really want to have it. Let's take a look at our next file. That one is done. Working our way through. I guess we need to do a 5-second one because half of these are 5 seconds.
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Okay, so I'm going to play that again. And my question is for you guys. What am I going to tell this person?
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Interesting. I'm going to make a quick note. Nonato, don't recognize your name. Thank you for sending this audio file. Hope to see you in future streams. Just making a quick little note for myself. I did it again. I always do this. No. Which one is it? No, it's not that one. Oh my gosh. Everyone did 5-second files. Everyone's a 5-second file. Oh my god. Not that one. Here it is. Okay. All right, let's take this sentence and put it in the chat for us. Fear mongering. It's interesting. Here's our sentence that we were taking a look at. Play it one more time, and again, think to yourself, what am I going to tell this person?
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Okay. I'll give him a second. I think I may have forgot the thing. 1 moment. Thanks for the note. Yeah, just try it again.
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Okay, see if we can hear that better, Denny. Thanks for the heads up.
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Okay, what am I going to say
The
here?
article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Okay, so my biggest suggestion here is going to be everything is super flat. Okay, I think we're going to want to do some experimentations with pitch.
The article was not so much.
The article was not so much, a little bit flat there.
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Okay, so I want to try to get this a little bit more dynamic. Thank you to Danny. Appreciate that.
The article was not so much.
The article was not so much. The article was not so much.
The article was not so much news.
The article was not so much news. Okay, so I think what I mentioned before again was that the it sounds a little bit flat. And part of the reason for that is actually because you have a lot of stresses. And so you're kind of using you are raising the pitch relatively in your sentence, but you have so many stresses for relatively few amounts of words that it's causing all the pitches that kind of sound very similar to each other. So to combat that,
the article was not so much news.
Article is not so much news, but fear mongering. You could probably even get away with 2 stresses in this whole sentence. You could probably get a stress on news. Okay, notice that again, news. It's not news. It's more news. News, this is one of those words that if you have any sort of British training, or you had British training in the past, this kind of something you want to be aware of. You don't want to say news. You want to say more news. American English does not add that E sound before the oo. Okay. You'll see there's a lot of British English words, though, with words beginning with an N, like news. Even words that start with like T, like tool, or like tool, like tu versus two, things like that. Or even L's, like pollute versus pollute. Okay, so watching out a little bit for that. Yeah, I would be curious to see how you would say this if you just put a stress on news. I think that would have a pretty big impact. Play again.
The article was not so much news.
So it said the article was not so much news, because right now you're stressing article, you're stressing not and news, and that's giving you kind of a choppy feel with everything at the same level. The article was not so much news versus the article was not so much news. The article was not so much. The article was not so much news. The R. The R. I think you could do a slight rise in pitch on article, but then you really want to start dropping. The article was not so much news. The article was not so much news. The article was not so much news. So again, just kind of give you a greater dynamic range, a little bit more movement, going to give you that more natural feel. Okay. And then the second half.
So much news, but fear mongering.
Fear mongering. Fear mongering. You want to stress fear, not mongering. It's not fear mongering. It's fear mongering, but fear mongering. Okay, so notice that again. Fear mongering. Then we're doing drop, drop, drop. Fear mongering. Fear mongering. The article is not so much news, but fear mongering. Okay, so it's going to have a pretty big impact on sound.
News, right? But fear mongering.
You're at fear mongering versus fear mongering. So make sure that your pitch is dropping. Okay, that's going to be key for getting that natural feel. So those would be my two biggest suggestions. Cut off the stresses in the first part, that first half. Just put a stress on news and see how that sounds. And then the second part, make sure you're stressing fear, not mongering. Also watching out a little bit for news, for that ooh sound.
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
I'd also say a little bit on article.
The article.
R. Your placement's very high for that R sound. Arti versus arti. Your difference between article and article. Your difference there. In general, you want more the second. You want lower, more open, more air coming through. And that's going to give you a more natural sound. The article.
The article.
The article versus the article. Okay, so just a note on that.
The article was not so much news, but fear mongering.
Because yes, those would be my big suggestions there. Thank you so much for sending that audio file. I do appreciate it. Can't do this without you guys. And it's great to have you. Let's see who's next. We got a 3-second file here.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Hear a lot of stresses. This is our friend Emanuel. Cesar. Cool. Which one is this? I think it was this one here. So where are we in terms of time? Because again, I will be trying to put timestamps on these once the live stream is over. Okay, at least rough timestamps so you can hear it. All right, and again, if it's your first time in the stream watching us, or if you're lurking and you've never said hello before, now is a great time to say, hey, great to meet you. And if you send us an audio file, let us know.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
And you guys can already guess what I'm going to say here. I'll give you the sentence. Common expression. This means that you can give someone all the tools to do something, but they may not actually do it. You can't force someone to actually do something, even if you give them everything. Okay. Thank you, Reyna, for saying hey. Did you send us a file? I'm checking to see. Reyna, is that you? Did you send us that file down there? Is that you? Looking forward to hearing it, if that's the case. Let's see what we got here.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
And again, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Stresses. Give me a ton of stresses.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
What stresses do you hear? I'll play that 2 more times. See at home, if you're watching this, what words are being stressed? So I already identified probably the biggest thing that we're going to spend time looking at. But see if you can identify where are all the stresses you hear. Let me know in the chat.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I'm hearing a stress on lead.
You can lead a horse to water.
Water. You can lead a horse to water,
but you can't make him drink.
But you can't make him drink. Can't make him drink. So I'm hearing almost 4 stresses here, and that's a lot. We don't have a ton of words here. Maybe like 12-ish words, 13-ish words, but 4 is a lot for that relatively short amount of time.
You can lead a horse to water.
This is again another, I think this is a common enough expression. You can put it into Youglish and kind of see how other native speakers are doing it. I think you get away with, I personally I would be curious on Youglish to see what people are stressing. My guess is actually on lead. You can lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water. So that's how I personally would say it. You can lead a horse to water. If you don't stress lead, another option that you could stress would be water. You can lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water. But regardless of whether you're stressing lead or if you're stressing water, you really just need one stress. Okay, you can lead a horse to water, or you can say lead a horse to water. But you can't make them drink. But you can't make them drink. Second stress, I could either see it on drink, can't make them drink, or you could stress can't, but you can't make them drink. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Or you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's another way. Lots of different options in terms of stress. I'll be honest, lots of different options, but the commonality is that I think you really just need 2 stresses. Okay, so cut down on some of those. It's going to make your sentence just flow a little bit more. It's not going to be as choppy. It's also going to be a little less exaggerated from the stresses.
You can lead a horse to water, but
lead a horse to water. As again, that sort of rhythm is a little bit unusual. Lead a horse to water, because it gets really punchy. You can lead a horse to water. Like it's a little bit strong, especially on water. And you don't want your stresses to be that emphatic. Okay, unless you're really exaggerating.
You can lead a horse to water.
Like to water versus to water. To water. Hear a difference between to water and to water. The second one I think is a more natural progression in terms of raising your pitch. It's not over exaggerated. Besides all that,
you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
I want to hear how you're linking make them.
But you can't make him drink.
Can't make them drink. Yeah, I like that reduction. Yes, so this is going to be my big suggestions. Work on those stresses. Cut down some of those stresses. I think that's what's going to have the biggest impact on how you say this sentence. I'll be honest. Emanuel, thank you for sending that file. I do appreciate it. Okay. How you guys liking the advice so far? Find it helpful? Let me know in the chat. If you really are finding it helpful, you can also what file is this? Share it with a friend. Like the stream. These are all things that help the channel. That's a nice little click. Just a click on my mouse made it onto the recording. Let's bounce around. 5, 5, 5. This is 6. I don't know my glasses. That is 6. And 5 again. 5, 5, 5, 6. Or whatever order. All right, let's check out this one.
I know you told me to move this.
I'm going to hold off on that because we just did you. Give me a moment.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Okay. People are going heavy on the idioms and the expressions today. Oh, and this is Reyna. Cool, cool, cool. Excited to listen to this. Here is our sentence. Oh, let's get the timestamp, right? So we're at 44. Reyna, is that your lucky number, 44? It is now. Oh no, not the final. Oh, I did it again, guys. Did it again.
Hi there, this is
Hi
Dustin,
there.
and
Dustin, give me
today
a
we're going
moment.
to be
I will be
talking
back.
about interesting stuff.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Mm-hmm.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Okay, I got some things I think are going to help you out here a little bit. What's up, Evan? Oh man, that the picture scared me for a second. Just so happy. Oh, what's his name? I forgot his name from that movie. Mike is the one-eyed one, right? I forget what his name. Great to see you, man. Early in the morning ish. Hopefully, did you have breakfast already?
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Okay, so I want to start off with the ending here. So the last part. I want to hear the word stones.
Shouldn't throw stones.
Okay, because this is a super common situation I see people doing, and I want to talk to you about it because you may not even know that you're doing it. If you're like most of my students until I tell them, and then they can't stop hearing it. So I want you to pay attention to stones.
Shouldn't throw stones.
Okay, I want you to say whether you are Reyna or whether you're just with me. I want you to say stow for me. Just say that stow. Or in fact, we go even slower. Let's just say oh really quick. Can you just say oh, oh, oh? Great. Hopefully you found that relatively simple. But again, you do want your placement to be low and pretty open. If you find that you're saying oh, or like oh, or things like that, you know, these are signs that you're tensing things up, you're closing things off, you're not quite getting the most natural sound that you would find in American English. Okay, so American English again would be more oh, okay, in terms of your sound. Okay, so do that for me. And now let's add a part to it. I want you to add the st before it. So, for instance, can you do like oh, stow, oh, stow? Okay, my question for you is as you're doing that, does your vowel change or does your vowel stay the same? Oh, stow, oh, stow. That's ideally going to be a situation where your vowel does not change. Oh, stow. And that's one way you can check yourself too is repeat that like 3 times. And as always, I recommend recording yourself and seeing if there's any shifts that happens. Okay, it's like oh, stow, oh, stow, oh, stow. Make sure that vowel stays the same. Okay. If it doesn't stay the same, then you have already identified your your problem. The problem may not be your O sound. The problem may be that T sound before the O. Okay, so maybe your T's are modifying your vowel. Okay, so that's something that you can start watching out for in your own speech. But maybe those are sounding the same, so maybe that's not an issue at all. So let's go the other direction. And I'm glad Showq making the note that the advice is helpful. Hearing that is helpful for me. Thank you so much for saying those kind words. I appreciate it. You know, because we don't know how we're doing unless we get feedback, right? So I always appreciate hearing that from you guys. Or even if it's not working, you can say, Jeff, this advice is horrible. It made my pronunciation worse. You know, you let me know that too. But let's go back to stone. So we just did O stone. We kind of just saw, do our vowels change or they staying the same? Hopefully they're staying the same. Now let's go the opposite direction now. So now we're going to do the O sound and now we're going to add the N. Okay, and I really want you to be careful with this. Take your time. You can pause. It's like O, own, O, own. Do they sound the same now? You can do it faster. O, own. Okay, you can even do it faster 3 times. See if you can do it without pausing. Oh, oh, no, oh, no, oh. Okay. Hopefully that sounds very similar. Like oh, no, oh, no, oh. Like whether it's just vowels or if you're adding the N sound in, ideally those should sound almost identical. No, oh. Because this is how you get sounds to really flow in American English. You let the breath keep going. You don't pause. You just keep the air flowing the entire time and you keep things low and open. If you find it hard to do that, no. Okay. If you're doing something like oh, that's not what we're doing. listen to what I just did and compare it to what you did. This is where recording is super helpful because you're pausing, you're breaking the sound, and this could be indicative of when you're speaking in American English that your English is choppier. Okay, because you're doing things like this, or you're doing things like this, like you're getting a choppier sound versus a choppier sound. American English again really focused on the vowel sounds, not the consonants, because that's really fundamental to this. Okay, so let's go back to O and own. So the one thing that I want you to be honest. Promise me that you're going to be honest with me. Okay, I want you to be honest and ask yourself when you do O, own, is your vowel changing? Are you doing something like this? Are you doing O, Owen, O, Owen? Do you hear that? Can you hear the difference between O, own, and O, Owen? Can you hear a difference there? If you can't, then that's something that I really want you to listen to a lot because we need to work on your noticing. Okay, but if you can do it, I want you to start understanding that this may be happening almost every time you're putting an N after your vowel sound because the letter N is a horrible consonant that can very quickly disrupt any word you pronounce that has it. Okay, so you always want to be careful with the letter N. You always want to be careful with the letter L. You always want to be careful with the letter R. You know, these are consonants that just completely destroy your English if you're not careful.
In glass houses, shouldn't throw stones.
Do that stones versus stones, keeping everything low and open. How do we do that? What happens a lot of times, students, they come to me and they're like, Jeff, there's the letter N. I'm not hearing the letter N when you say it. Okay. It's there, but I am making it way weaker than you are. You are putting more emphasis on consonant sounds. I am putting more emphasis on vowel sounds. The N is weak. It's not Owen, it's own. The difference between O and own. Hear difference? O, own. O, own. If you cannot hear the difference, then that is an exercise that you can, congratulations, you know what you need to work on, right? You know what you need to study. You need to study listening to final consonant sounds that are very reduced and very weak, okay? Because this is going to be fundamental to getting that natural American English sound, okay? So that was a very long kind of group of exercises that I hope you will find very useful in kind of analyzing your own English, your own American English, trying to identify sounds that would be good to target to get more natural.
Throw stones.
Stones, again, versus stones. What else is going on here, though?
Those who live in glass houses.
Glass house. I want to hear houses again.
Glass houses.
Compare mine to hers. So again, I would say houses.
Glass houses.
How? So again, it's a placement thing. Your ow sounds really high. Can you just say ow? Say ow 3 times to yourself. Ow, ow, ow. Where are you feeling that? Are you feeling that here? Because if I do that, I'm hearing ow, ow, ow. If I do it down here, I'm like ow, ow, ow. Hear a difference? I feel like for houses, we're a little high. How versus how.
Live in glass houses.
Versus houses. Another thing you want to watch out for too, very minor.
Glass houses.
Dude, houses. I'm exaggerating, but I want you to notice that second syllable on houses. Notice how I'm saying it is like is, the verb to be, right? Maybe you're familiar with that. Is. Says it ease, more is. Okay, see what you hear here.
Glass houses.
Houses versus houses. So again, ow, I would try to lower the placement. Is, I would try to lower the placement. Just a note.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah, you can also see the placements a little high on throw. Throw stones. That's how I would say it. Throw stones. But I'm hearing throw stones versus throw stones.
Throw stones. Shouldn't throw stones.
Throw stones versus throw stones. So again, lower, more open. Okay, would be my big suggestion.
Those who live.
Last major thing I just want to take a look at, linking. Linking.
Those who live.
Those who live. You have an opportunity here to use some more linking. So I said those who, you can write those who. So instead of, notice what happens, that W sound really gets reduced, maybe even removed a bit. Okay. So instead of those who comes more those who. It's almost like saying though, zoo, zoo. But again, you want to lower the pitch on the zoo part. Okay. Those who. Okay. So I said those who, or those who.
Those who live in glass houses.
Those who live in glass. Those who live in. Notice that drop. Those who live in. Okay, so just kind of something to pay attention to. All right. Again, everything I'm saying, I'm being very nitpicky on, but if you're looking to just adapt your English, if you're asking yourself, I think I have some accent, but I'm not sure why, those are some of the things I would be targeting. Okay, that could be leading you to that conclusion. In general, I think it sounds good, but just kind of pay attention to those things if you're looking for something to identify. Reyna, I hope you find that helpful. Thank you so much for sending the audio file. I do appreciate it. I hope to hear from you again in future streams. That's true for everybody. Now I need a quick water break. And random didn't notice the vowel changes tone. Yeah, so I would this is I'm actually going to make a video very soon talking more about things like this. There's a lot of very short words that have these N sounds where the N sound has an impact. Is this the right one?
Hi there.
Okay, that's cool. We'll do that in a moment. So you want to pay attention to, for instance, I'll give you a couple words to look out for. Let's look up a couple other words that have a very similar situation with the O sound. So I would say these words to yourself and ask yourself, record yourself and see, and maybe you're not, but just to see if you are doing that shift. Okay, it's like own, loan, cone, phone. That's the ideal sound, right? Own, loan, cone, phone. Okay. See though, and you might need to listen very carefully. See if you're doing owen, loan, cone, phone versus on, loan, cone, phone. Owen, loan, cone, phone, versus on, loan, cone, phone. So just kind of compare, see if you're doing it. You might not be, but maybe you are, whether you're Reyna or anyone else watching this. Okay, so just kind of pay attention to that. The letter N is a horrible, horrible consonant that we always need to be on the lookout for. All right, but again, thank you for sending that audio. I do appreciate it. Who next?
Hi there.
Hi there. We got Dustin. Dustin's coming in at the 58 mark. We're just approaching an hour. You have spent an hour potentially just listening to pronunciation files on a Friday night or a Saturday morning. Oh my God. Whoever would have thought that would happen, right? Did you know 5-10 years ago that you would be here? I didn't know I would be here. I'll put it that way. Anyways, Dustin. I should have done this as the first file. Today we're going to be talking about interesting stuff. Okay? Denny, let me. This is a message for Denny, but you guys are obviously here too. But Denny is just. È solamente per te, ok? Guarda che ci sono delle cose nella vita che sono importanti. E la pronuncia vale pure, no? Quindi chi se ne frega. I'm just kidding. You're a nicer brother than me. That's great that you're not waking your brother. I appreciate that. I wouldn't want you to disturb him. How old, Denny? Are you the older brother or are you the younger brother? If he's the older brother, you afraid of getting beat up. Or if he's the younger brother, you're just trying to be the good role model. Let's go to Dustin's file. I think is our last one. Pop this back up. See what we got.
Hi there,
Hi
this
there.
is Dustin, and today we're going to be talking about interesting stuff.
There you go.
Hi there, this is Dustin, and today we're going to be talking about interesting stuff.
Very dynamic. You got some of those pitch changes that we've been talking a lot about today. I don't think you have too many stresses. I'm liking a lot of what I'm hearing.
Hi there,
There, can you get just a little bit more air through? Notice how the air just dies on that R.
Hi there, this
There, hi there, and it just dies. It's just no breath. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, like 11. My God, that's quite the age difference, man. That's quite the age difference. If I had a brother that was 9 years younger than me, my God. Your parents, your parents were like, they had you, and then they were like, hey, this was nice. Let's do it all over again. Let's not sleep 10 years after our first kid. Oh my gosh. Can't imagine doing that.
hi there,
Hi there versus hi there. Air. I would just practice saying the word air with more breath coming out at the end. I would say it like 3 times, just like we always do. It's like air, 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 just to get that breath flowing. Okay. Because right now that air is just dying. Because you're doing air, air, air versus air, air, air. Get that breath, keep it continuous. Okay.
hi there, this is Dustin, and
I hear the this is part.
hi there, this is Dustin.
This is
This is Dustin.
this is Dustin. I feel that, Denny. My parents had twins. I have a twin brother. I can't imagine. When I had my son, I told my wife every day, "Oh my gosh, I hope these are not twins. Do not want to deal with two at the same time." I love my brother. My brother's great, but I'm glad I'm glad we didn't have twins. Oh my gosh, so glad. If you're watching this and you have kids, let me know in the chat. Or if you don't have kids but you want to have kids, let me know how many kids you want to have.
Hi there, this is Dustin, and today we're going to
I still want to hear this part.
Hi there, this is Dustin.
I'm listening for just to make sure we're not doing like an EE, like these or this is. I'm not hearing an EE, which is good. This is Dustin.
Hi there, this is Dustin, and
This is Dustin. Something about Dustin.
hi there, this is Dustin, and
Dustin. Dustin. This is Dustin.
hi there, this is Dustin, and hi there, this is Dustin.
Dustin. Very, very minor thing, and this may not, it's not necessary to do this. You could weaken your end sound a little bit. Dustin. Dustin. When you're saying Dustin, where's the tip of your tongue on the end sound? Is your tongue up here, or is it down at the bottom of your mouth? I'm just curious. You don't have to be Dustin to answer this. When you guys also, if you say the word Dustin, where's the tip of your tongue at the end when you do the end sound?
There, this is Dustin, and
It sounds to me,
hi there, this is Dustin, and
Dustin. It sounds to me like the tip of your tongue is high. It sounds to me like your tip of your tongue is making contact up here. And I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like to me. It's very clear. Which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. If that's the case, for you too, when if you're watching this, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. I would just say, hey, let's do an experiment. Can you say Dustin with the tip of your tongue down against the bottom of your mouth? Okay, hold it down here and see how that modifies your sound. So I'll compare. First time I say I'll be high. Second time I'll do it low. It's like Dustin, 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 Dustin. Hear a difference? Okay. What I think you'll find is that when you have it lower, you sacrifice some clarity. when you're doing the sound with your tongue high, nah, it's pretty clear, right? You can really hear that end sound. Whereas when you do the tip of your tongue down, it's more nah, and it's a little bit more muffled. It's not as crisp, a little mumbly. Okay, but that's okay because remember, American English emphasizes vowel sounds, not consonant sounds. So you're sacrificing some of the clarity of your consonants, but you're achieving more, you're allowing more breath to kind of flow through. And it's also softening your consonant sound more, which helps your vowel sound become a little bit more dominant. So I would say, hey, when you say Dustin, see if you can say Dustin more with the tip of your tongue down. Let's kind of soften things up a bit.
And today we're going to be.
And today, again, I think we have this tendency to kind of chop off breath. You're the breath hacker. You're just hacking away at breath, not letting it continue to live. As soon as the word's done, you're done with the breath.
Dustin, and today we're going to.
In today versus in today. In today, I would hold that A sound a little bit more. Try to get just a little bit more air through. In today.
Today we're going to be talking.
Today versus today. And today, try to get a little more air.
Hi there, this is Dustin, and today we're going to be talking about interesting stuff.
Today we're going to be talking about, I like your linking there in that reduction sequence.
Today we're going to be talking.
We're going to be talking about. Take a look, Denny. I have a video if you talking about just tricks for your tongue. Okay, it's a picture of me, my fat tongue with a giant key on it. And it talks about techniques like this just for kind of practicing. Okay. And it's one of those things you don't have to do. This is one of those things that can be really helpful especially with transitioning, help with linking and things. Go back to Denny's file. Going back to Dustin's file.
Today we're going to be talking about.
You're doing a lot of work. You're pronouncing every single one of those words. They're all reduced, which is great, and they're all linked. But
today we're going to be talking about.
That's a lot of words, right? In a short amount of time. We're going to be talking about. That's a lot of work.
We're going to be talking about.
What you'll often hear native speakers do instead of doing we're going to be talking, because that's a lot of work. Oftentimes you're going to hear native speakers say we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about. Instead of today we're going to be talking about. Today we're going to. You could say gonna be. Instead going to be. You can say gonna be talking about. Today we're going to talk. We're going to be. Today we're going to be talking about. Today we're going to be talking about. Things like that. It just allows you to kind of chop off some of those sounds or really weaken them. I don't think the way you said it is wrong. I just think this is going to be a little easier, in all honesty.
We're going to be talking about. Interesting stuff.
We hear the in.
We're going to be talking about interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff. I like that you stressed interesting a little bit. If you're just looking at the sentence, you might expect to stress on stuff, but if you want to highlight the interesting, I think it's super natural. I like what you did. All right, Dustin, we've given you already lots of treatment, lots of things to kind of be considering. I hope all that is helpful, but you can let me know in the chat box if you're like, that was horrible advice, or I sound worse than before, or maybe the opposite, I sound incredible, however it happens. Let me know. But thank you for spending some time with us, sending us that file. I do appreciate it. Okay. Need to take a quick water break. But before I do that, guys, if you're finding this helpful, find this pronunciation advice helpful, whether or not you send us a file, you can get corrections like this every single day. We give pronunciation advice every single day. It's me and another teacher I've worked with for years named Lenora. Actually hired her back when I was working at a language center. She was one of my best hires. She was great. Our language center closed down, but she's still doing some ESL English teaching and things like that. So we're very fortunate to have her. But like I said, we do pronunciation practice every single day in a pronunciation group that we have on Telegram that I just want to kind of tell you about for a moment. Eel, please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. I'm getting a lot of O. Take off the T on center. In our pronunciation Telegram group, what basically happens is kind of similar to today. Every day I post a challenge group of words. I think our group of words today was snacks. It's like, how do you say snack foods? Kind of snack foods like pretzel and um, cookies and pudding and then things like that, nuts. Um, and then so I then sent an audio file of myself saying the words, and then you can send in pronunciation files of yourselves and then get feedback from me and get feedback from Lenora, giving some suggestions like, hey, your placement's a little high. Hey, let's try to open your mouth a little wider. Hey, let's try to get your tongue a little lower. Things like that. Let's try to get more breath through. So that way, some people just kind of really appreciate having that daily coaching. Otherwise, they might not study. I don't know is that you? Are you the kind of person that like, if you don't have a teacher, you don't have someone that like tells you to do something, then you don't do it. You know, lots of people are like that. So if you find that you're one of those people, or you're one of those people, or you're just like, hey, I'm studying pronunciation, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. You just want to get feedback from a native speaker, a teacher, someone who's worked in English since 2010. Just saying, who got a master's degree, used to be an IELTS examiner, all these things. If you want to get feedback from someone like that, I mean, that's what our Telegram group is for. So you can find out more information if you go to patreon.com/fluentamerican and you select the middle option. So it's only $5 a month. $5 a month gets you 30 to 31 days of pronunciation practice. You can see that in ticker below. Join our pronunciation group at patreon.com/fluentamerican. Or you can also join by below this very window. Just like look, I think it's down here, right? The join option. And select the middle one for like $5 and you'll get access to the group as well. Okay. Then he makes a great point. Phone calls are the worst. Oh my gosh. When I was in Perugia, my parents came to visit me, and the internet was obviously a thing. This was back in like 2009, but there weren't as the same kinds of tools we have today. I had to call hotels, and we were going to Rome, so I had to book some hotels, and it's super. It's phone calls are the worst in the second language. If you agree with me, let me know. How do you like making phone calls in the second language? It could be hard doing it in the first language, let alone trying to do it in the second language. But anyways, I have my parents, I have my dad here, I have my mom here, and they're like, Jeff, make the call, and I was like, all right, you make the call. Super intimidating to make phone calls in the second language. Phone calls are the worst. But the only way to get more comfortable with it is to do it. I feel much more comfortable doing it now than I did back then. Just talking to native speakers can be an intimidating experience for a lot of people. A lot of people also have the experience. I don't know if you for work or anything, if you guys have to go to conferences, things like that. A very common experience, if it's like a very international conference, is if the presenters are English language learners and they present, everyone understands what they're saying. People have a good time, but then the American presents, or then the British guy presents, and everyone like flips out because, oh my gosh, I can't understand him, because it's just easier to understand other second language learners than native speakers. It's a common experience. Yeah. Yeah, it's a two-way street, because what if they say, and then because that also gives a bad look if you you misunderstand something, yeah, it's I think that's super fair. I think it's super fair. The whole experience can be intimidating, but again, the only way to get better at it, is you have to do it more. You have to break out of your comfort zone, because what's challenging now, if you do it consistently, is not the challenging thing, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, a year from now. But if you never give yourself those experiences, you never improve. That's one activity my students hated me for, but that I think was really helpful for them, was back when I was at a language center, was I would have them make phone calls to businesses. Like, for instance, I'd have them call like rental agencies to get information about apartments. we would go to grocery stores and I would ask them to, get information about where to find products, those sorts of experiences, because you have to have them, and that's the hard part about it. It's also fun. There's language learning should be fun. It's enjoyable, but it's also scary, sometimes intimidating. Yeah, take a look at our document. Let's go back and see what we got going on. I have 3 major files here. I'm actually going to check Cesar's really quick. Let's make sure this is okay. Cesar, thank you for sending that file. We'll take a look at that. I think we still have some time. If you want to send a pronunciation file and you don't have a brother that you're going to wake up, feel free. I think we still have a little bit of time left. We try to get through everyone here. Be sure to share my audio. Dum, 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 dum. Okay. Who we got?
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
Oh, that's very pleasant. It's pleasant on many levels. The words themselves, but also speaking. Very, very nice to hear.
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
What do you guys think about that? Let's see what our file here. Warm breeze. Here it is. Mariana, is that you? What's our time? I'm trying to again put timestamps on this. 1:16. 15. Okay. I'm excited to hear this one. Try to give you some helpful advice, Mariana. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Don't recognize your name, so it's great to have your file. We did it. Oh my gosh, a call center rep. Oh my gosh. Kudos to you, Reyna, for doing that. To be fair, there are times when I've used man, like it's in a lot of ways it's like a filler word of sorts too, but I totally get the context. That's kind of a tricky word to say too, like ma'am. I think the key thing is like ma'am. You want to hear that clear separation. You also can, one thing you can do too is hold that sound a little longer. Ma'am, versus man. Okay, so it's the difference between and versus am. The M sound needs to be a little more dominant than the N sound in man. Yeah, but I totally get that. Oh my gosh, I can't call center work. I'm not jealous. I'm totally not jealous of that. Did I get our sentence? I can post here. Dustin's sentence. I did not do what I was supposed to do. Did not do what I was supposed to do. Didn't happen. Okay, here's our sentence. Apologies for the delay. Feels like it was taken from a very nice, pleasant book. Doesn't it just like put you in the scene? I love this. This is great.
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
Whispered through the trees. Very clearly enunciated. Everything here is very, very clear.
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
Everything is super. If you're looking for, in terms of clarity, in terms of the vowel sounds, consonant sounds, I think everything's super clear.
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
A lot of R sounds here, which can be obviously a very tricky consonant, but I like how you're pronouncing your R sounds. I'm hearing lots of breath.
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
Okay, I like whisper. I like the short I sound. Again, tends to be a tricky one, like whisper versus whispered. I like it. So what advice can we give here?
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
Through the trees.
A warm breeze whispered through the trees.
Through the trees. Through the trees. Everything that I'm about to say is it all depends on your goals. Okay, you could go through the rest of your life speaking like this, and it sounds super natural, sounds super clear. I don't think you have any issues whatsoever. Okay, so kudos to you. I think you're doing all the work. Everything that I'm about to say is really just kind of saying, hey, here are some alternatives. Okay, you don't have to listen to them. Let's listen to through.
Is whispered through the
Through the. So I'm imagining for that th sound based on what I'm hearing.
bird through the
Through the. I'm thinking, and let me know, Mariana, if you're watching this, you can let me know. You say you're wrong, Jeff, and do it in that voice. You're wrong, Jeff. I imagine that for your th sound, what you're doing is you're having the tip of your tongue make contact with your top tooth. Through the trees, or maybe even between your teeth, but to me it sounds a little higher than that. Okay, and I could be wrong, but that's just based on what I'm hearing right now.
whispered through the
Whispered through the. Okay, and it's giving you a very clear th sound, which is great. As an experiment, I would say, hey, whisper through the trees. Can you say whisper through the trees? Can you say that? Whisper through. Can you link whispered into through with the tip of your tongue down against your bottom tooth? Whisper through the trees. Okay, just to, I would play around with your th positions just to find some alternatives, because there may be some times where having your tongue so high that it can slow you down. Or may even lead to making your th sound a little bit too dominant and things like that. I don't think that's the case here. Okay, but it's more just to have alternatives and make sure we're pronouncing the alternatives clearly as well. Because the reality is that, hey, for th sounds, sometimes having the tip of your tongue lower can actually make transitions easier. Okay, you sacrifice things. It's not going to give you that super clear whispered through the trees. You're not going to get that. But instead, you're sacrificing clarity for smoother linking and flow. It's like whispered through the trees. That's with my tongue high. Whispered through the trees versus whisper through the trees. Whisper through the trees. The clarity drops a little bit, but it can flow just a little bit more smoothly. Okay. Other things of note.
a warm breeze
A warm breeze. Really, you've slowed everything down. You're saying everything, I don't want to say like exaggerated, but dramatic, I might say. Everything's really dramatic. Like it's like a narrator for like an audiobook or something. So one of the ways you're doing that is by lengthening things and adding more stresses. But it works because you have the adequate pauses. You're making very clear thought groups. And I think the way you're emphasizing is very natural.
a warm breeze
A warm breeze.
whispered through the trees.
Whisper through. Another thing too that for like whisper through. So like as you're linking that, right now your D sound of whisper is very clear.
Warm breeze whispered through
That whispered. Do you hear that? Whispered.
trees whispered
Whispered. And again, nothing wrong with that. But another thing that you'll often hear native speakers doing is linking that with the TH. So instead of whispered through, more whispered through. It's almost more like a held sound that then links to the TH. Just another thing to kind of watch out for.
whispered through the trees.
Through the, I want to hear through the trees.
Trees whispered through the tree.
You hear it through the, whispered through the. Again, it sounds to me like your THs are really high. I would experiment so like through the, so keeping that tip of the tongue lower. Okay, through the trees. Notice how weak the can become. Through the trees. So again, these are not things you need to do. As I said, you do not need to do any of this. These are all just things if you're looking for experimentation. If you're looking for being like, hey, I want to make this, I want it to flow more, or I want to just kind of just play around with English a little bit more. These are some experiments you can do, trying to keep these sounds a little bit more reduced, a little lower in the mouth. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much for sending the audio files. It was a joy to hear. Hope to hear more in the future. Thanks so much. This is the same one, right?
breeze.
Yes. Okay, so right now I'm seeing 3 files for us. Still seeing Cesar as our last one. Oh, Matt. Okay, Matt, I see you sent a file. I'm going to try to get through these first, and then if we have time, we'll get to Matt. See which one is this.
I know you told me the movie's bad, but still, I wasn't expecting.
No, I just want to make sure I get through everyone else first. We're going to save that one, okay?
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
1,000 words. Okay, where is that? Wakana. Okay, Wakana. Cool, cool, cool. This is your first submission on our live stream. I'm so excited to hear this. As I lose the file again.
A picture is...
There we go. Okay. Here's our sentence. Let me get a timestamp for us. We are at 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 28:30 seconds or whatever. Okay. 1:25:18. Making up times. Okay. Oh, did I lose it again?
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Okay. So one thing I'm going to meet, the very first thing, there is nothing wrong with saying 1,000. Okay. But in all honesty, the more likely way, especially with this is a common expression, right? So the more common way you're going to hear this is instead of 1,000, you're going to hear more 1,000. You're just going to hear instead of 1, you're going to hear So the more common thing you're going to hear is picture's worth 1,000 words. That's the common way you're going to hear that. A picture's worth 1,000 words. So you can go again to youglitch.com. I would strongly recommend this. In fact, type this phrase in. It's super common, so you're going to get lots and lots of hits. Okay, and I would listen to how other native speakers are doing it. I would really, really reckon that only a handful are going to say 1,000. Okay. But what else is going on?
A picture is...
Okay, I'm going to stop us here really quick. Watch out for E sounds versus short I sounds. And we haven't had time to talk about this yet in much detail. But right now I'm hearing picture, a peak versus a pick. Hear difference between a peak and a pick. Peak, pick. So again, we want to try to get more of that short I sound. The immediate things right now are you want that to be a little bit lower. Okay, you want more air to come through. Okay, in terms of mouth position, some things to be aware of for that short I sound. The sides of your tongue touch your top teeth. It's like you're biting the sides of your tongue a little bit. Okay, the very back of your tongue is down. Front of your tongue is down. The sound you're looking for is eh, eh. If you find yourself doing e, that's a sign that you're making more of an e sound. We want more eh, so it's not peak. It's more pick, a picture.
A picture is worth...
Okay, another thing too that's gonna, if this is not something that you have studied before, this is not just for Wakana, this is for everybody. Okay, if you have not studied contractions before, and your goal is to sound more natural in American English, you need to study contractions. You need to turn off this live stream and just study contractions for an hour. Not being serious, but it is something that you want to kind of start incorporating. And you don't have to study all of the contractions at once. I would start off slow, maybe start off just with like B contractions. Like instead of picture is more pictures, just incorporate more of that Z sound instead of saying ease. Or another common one is like there's. A lot of students are saying like there is, when in reality is the sounds more there's. Okay, so just contractions, really can't recommend them enough. Native speakers use them all the time. So if you want to sound natural, you want to consider using them too. If you have a favorite contraction, by the way, let me know. I'm a fan of contractions with the future of like will. It's like there'll, like there'll be snow tomorrow or something like that. Or like he'll go. Instead of he will go, it becomes he'll go. I just love the dramatic because the sound is so different than what you may expect because it's usually reduced, it's usually weak. So I really like those future contractions with will. But I'm a language nerd. I mean, I just love like grammar and pronunciation stuff. I'm kind of crazy. Okay, so we talked about picture. We talked about picture is becomes a picture's worth.
A picture is worth.
Okay, let's now talk a little about linking. So we can join this together. So instead of is worth, is worth, is worth. Do you hear that? We can join these together a little more. Is worth, is worth, is worth. So it's almost more like saying is worth, is worth, is worth. So it's more like it's worth, right? A picture is worth. A picture is worth. So that's really kind of more the sound you get. A picture is worth. A picture is worth.
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Okay. One other thing too. This is a big one. A lot of things that I've mentioned so far are relatively optional. You don't necessarily have to have linking. You don't necessarily have to use contractions. But I'm gonna bring myself big for this. Words. When you see a D plus S combination, this is actually going to sound more like z, z, which is like a combination of a D sound linking with a Z. Z, z. You want to be careful because there's a difference between just making a Z sound. To give you some example, let me think of a couple quick ones. These are just some really quick examples. We're going to do some minimal pair exercises. See, for everyone watching, see if you can hear a difference between these. Knees, needs, raise, raids, rise, rides. Again, knees, needs, raise, raids, rise, rides. What you should be able to notice, even just a little bit, is that a Z sound, like for instance, in knees, raise, rise, is a little bit different than a Z sound that you see in needs, raids, rides. Okay. One helpful thing for that DZ sound is that the tip of your tongue is actually lower. Use the middle of your tongue to make contact with the top of your mouth, not the very tip. That will help give you more of that Z, Z sound. When you make a normal Z sound, you can use more of the tip of your tongue against the top of your mouth. It's like Z versus Z. Okay. So I would really recommend practicing that a little bit because on the word words, notice that there, it's not words, it's words. So we need a little bit more of that Z sound. Okay, so I would definitely say take a look at that. Other last things here.
A picture is worth 1,000 words.
1,000 words. The last big thing is going to be stress. I think we're stressing some things. I think we have too many stresses, and I think we're stressing some things that may not normally receive stress. And that's again where going to youglish.com and putting this in will be really helpful to kind of seeing how native speakers are doing it. But some examples of that. Showq gave us some examples of some contractions that you're gonna have. I like that's a great phrase. You're gonna have problems. Like usually it's a super weak phrase, super fast, and then you finish it with a punch. Like you're gonna go. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna sleep, or you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have a great time. Really like that. Talking about stress here though.
A picture is worth.
A picture is worth. So you're putting a lot of stress on worth. But most likely, when you listen to other native speakers say this, you're going to hear stress probably on picture. A picture's worth. A picture's worth. 1,000 words. 1,000 words. So the next stress I would expect to fall on words.
Worth 1,000 words.
1,000 words. You're doing like 1,000 words. Whereas I think the more common way would be like 1,000 words. 1,000 words. Put the heavier stress on words. Picture's worth 1,000 words. 1,000 words. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Picture's worth 1,000 words. Okay, so I would do heavier stress on picture, and I'll do heavier stress on words. Okay, it's just no stress. All right, but yeah, those are just my big suggestions there. If anything doesn't make sense, you could be sure to let me know. But thank you so much for sending files, and I hope to see more files in the future. Thank you. This one here.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Oh my gosh, this sounds dangerous. It's raining cats and dogs. Let's take our sentence. Her. Give ourselves timestamp. We're at 1:35:10. You guys are lucky. Late on a Friday night, early on a Saturday morning. We're going a little long on our stream, no? So that 1:35:22. If you guys are enjoying yourselves, let me know in the chat. If you really want to let me know, you can also like the stream. And if you really, really want to know, or want to let me know, share it with other people you know who are studying. Okay. So we got our timestamp.
It's raining cats and dogs.
It's raining cats and dogs.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Okay, so right now you are putting the heaviest stress on raining. You're like, it's raining cats and dogs. Okay. It's raining cats and dogs. But I think the more common place where you're going to see a stress in this phrase, this is, again, a common expression in English, so another great one to put into Youglish to get some feedback on. It's raining cats and dogs. The heavier stress is usually on dogs, in honesty. So instead of it's raining cats and dogs, usually it's more it's raining cats and dogs. It's raining cats and dogs outside. So put the heavier stress on dogs. That's going to be the very first thing. Okay. Oh my gosh, almost hit 5 a.m. This is how I know Denny doesn't have kids.
It's raining cats and dogs.
The other thing too is vowel sounds. Vowels. So change the stress and start studying a little bit some more vowel sounds. Specifically,
it's raining.
Raining. So say re, it's more ray. And this goes back to what we talked about earlier in the stream too about the letter N and how horrible it is. I don't have anything against the letter N, I promise. But your N sound is interfering with your A sound. It's tensing things up. Like, for instance, you do this progression like A, ray, rain. A, ray, rain. Make sure that your vowel is the same for all three. A, ray, rain, A, ray, rain, A, ray, rain. If you find that you can do A, but it's like rain, like A, rain, that's a sign that the N is causing your vowel to tense. Okay. So watch out a little bit for that. Just a quick note. Riddick is asking, great to see you. I do have one. There's one that called for breath. It's 8 or 10 exercises for your breath. Let me and it's related to the throat resonance. And this is, by the way, this is the throat resonance and breath is, yes, I think a lot of people often associate with males, but we also see this with female speakers of American English as well. This is not just something for speakers. Even if you are a female watching this, this is something that you really want to be considering adding to your American English. American English is just a language that adds more air through the throat than what a lot of other languages are doing. American English, and we're kind of, there's always regionalisms and things like that, but in general, in American English, if you're able to achieve that resonance, that breath, that warmth, that richness, it's called many different things. If you're able to do that, that can really help you sound more natural. Okay, so I just want to show where that breath exercise video is. My internet's being slow and choppy because I'm doing a live stream and things like that, so we'll give it a minute. But again, that resonance and breath is not just for men. Okay, going back again to raining as well. Okay, raining. You also want to watch out for that ing sound. We also have a video that talks about ing endings. So you want to watch out for that. So it's not ing, it's more ing. Okay, just a note. Here we are in our live stream. I wanted to find that video for you about the breath. Dun, 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 dun. Wasn't fast answers. Here is one of these, I think. If I click over. Oh, maybe I didn't put it there. Thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Oh, here it is. If you go down to the bottom, it's like how to sound American English language placement. So go to playlist, go to the very bottom. I have this video here. Your American English needs more breath. 10 tips. That's the video you want for incorporating more breath. I'm happy to do more videos on resonance and things like that. But for now, this will give you a lot of different techniques that you can try to get your breath going. Okay, so I'd recommend that video. You'll meet my alter ego, Captain Accent. It's a great time. I think you'll enjoy it, hopefully. Anyways.
It's raining cats and dogs.
So again, short I sound I would study. A sound I would study, specifically A sound linked with the letter N, like rain, pain, sane, cane, all of those.
In cats and dogs.
I would also say the A sound, like in cats. Can you do like a, cat, cat? To do the A sound, notice that your mouth's relatively wide. Make myself a little bigger so you can see me. Get the full thing. No, you want to see my face. Maybe. For that A sound, you want to open your mouth wide. Ah, ah. And notice you can really see my tongue. Look how much space my tongue is taking up. Ah, ah. You can really see my tongue there. So that's the same thing for you, right? You want to make sure your tongue is visible. Okay. You do that by lowering the front of your tongue and lowering the back of your tongue. And that's going to cause your tongue to kind of curl a little bit. Ah, 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 ah. You cannot see into my throat. Ah, ah, ah. Compare that to the ah sound. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, notice now you can kind of see backwards. Whereas ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Okay, so that's kind of some of the differences there. So you want to watch out a little bit for that ah sound. The A sound.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Dogs. The ah sound. You can say dogs with an ah sound if you want. I personally pronounce it with an aw sound, like in law or saw, where my mouth again relatively wide, back of my tongue high, front of my tongue down. So more ah. It's like ah, daw, dogs. Okay. Notice that too for dogs. It should have that GS sound, make it like a gz sound. We already talked about the DS making that z. Now we're talking about GS making that gz sound.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah. So study vowels. Change your stress dogs, and then take a look at all those vowels we just mentioned. Those are my big pieces of advice. I hope you find that helpful. If you have any questions about anything there, be sure to let me know. But I do appreciate it. All right, Emanuel, for your second one, I'm going to try to be a little fast on this because I am starting to fade. I can feel it.
I know you told me the mood is bad, but still, I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire.
A lot happening here. There is a section I'm going to hear again. So you're using lots of linking, using lots of reductions. I do hear some changes in pitch. I do, but I do think that if you were to talk like this in a conversation with a native speaker, they may ask you to repeat, specifically for a couple of parts.
I know you told me the mood is bad, but still, I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire.
Okay, let's break it down a little bit.
I know you told me the...
I know you told me. I know you told me.
I know you told me the...
I know you told me. I know you told me. I know you told me the... I know you told... I would put that phrase, I know you told me, into Youglish to see what word is being stressed most commonly because I know you told me. I know you told me. I think told's going to need some stress.
I know you told me the...
I know you told me. I know you told me. I know you told me. In fact, maybe even no, not getting stress, and instead just put the stress on told. I know you told me. I know you told me. I know you told me. Raise that pitch on told.
I know you told me the movie's bad, but
I know you told me. I know you told me the movie was bad. Yeah, I think having that higher pitch on told is going to make a huge difference in clarity for that first part.
I know you told me the movie's bad, but still.
Movie was bad. I know you told me the movie was
It's
bad.
bad, but
You can also exaggerate bad more. I know you told me the movie was bad, but again, this kind of helps stand out, add some contrast. It'll mix up your speed a little bit if you drag it out more. So all those things, I would hold that more honestly.
you told me the movie's bad, but still.
Watch out for short eye on still. Still is a deceptively hard word. It's not still. It's more still. Short eye, L sound. See if you can do ill. Take off the ST. Can you just say ill? Do that like 3 times. Ill, ill, ill. Then you can add the ST back in. It's like ill, still, ill, still, ill, still. Okay, so practicing that a bit.
Bad, but still. I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire.
Like your stress on this. I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire.
Expecting this dumpster fire.
I would also play with the intonation on fire. I think you have some opportunities here to actually do a slight rise. Fire, fire. Okay. By doing that, you're kind of like getting like asking for acknowledgement or like it's kind of just an appeal to your listener. Okay. By going, it softens it. Okay. This dumpster fire. I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire. Fire. Do you hear that? Fire. So it's like just adding that little thing, I think, can just help with the tone as well. I know you told me the movie was bad, but still, I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire. That's why I would have read that.
I know you told me the movie's bad, but still.
Movie was bad. I like that sequence there. It sounds really good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this dumpster fire.
Yeah, so pay attention to those big things there. I think the thing that's going to have the most immediate impact is just changing the stress and putting it on told. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much for sending that audio file. Great to hear it as always. There's one file I need to scout really quick. So I have a little bit of water too. So in the meantime, and we're getting to the end, guys. Matt will be our last file. So if you guys have a question for me, or question related to English, question related to pronunciation, question related to life, maybe now is the time to ask. I will share my screen and everything once more. Oh, I did not actually scout the file yet. Okay, this one is safe. The volume on this will be slightly low. So again, I do say if you send us pronunciation files, do just double check them. Make sure they sound the way you want them to sound. Make sure the volume is high enough. I dislike not being able to review files, just from like technical issues, but they're certainly possible. Okay. Yeah, Matt's joining us in the chat. Oh yeah, look at the avatar. Okay, that show is so good. Look at this. Look at this character. Look at this face. Any Avatar Last Airbender? Any Aang fans here? Isn't it? I am not from the UK. Mama. I am from the United States, originally from the East Coast of a city called Philadelphia, which is like 2 hours south of New York. Or if you're in LA and you drive east for 3 days, it's probably like a 36-hour drive or something. You can get to Philadelphia. All right, but again, this will be our last file from today. So your chances of getting some questions in, this is your final opportunity.
The premium voice recording service.
Okay. Let's try to boost up my volume a bit.
The Premium Voice Recording Service.
Premiere voice recording service. 2 stresses. You're gonna want 2 stresses for this. You have this like kind of 4-word phrase. I know there's a the, but it's like Premiere voice recording service. That's your main section. Okay. So the way you're typically going to hear this done is you're going to hear a stress on the first word, and you're going to hear a stress on the last word. And actually, one of the last videos I just made goes through different types of very common stress patterns. So I really recommend taking a look if you go to the channel. It's something about stress, like American English stress, like what school didn't teach you or something like that. And it's just going to give you different practice exercises for common stress patterns.
The Premium Voice Recording Service.
The Premiere voice recording service. Premiere voice recording service. Denny, feel free to shoot. I will do my best to answer. 5 in the morning your time.
The Premium Voice Recording Service.
Premiere voice recording service. Premiere voice recording. Premiere voice. So another option is that there's a couple different ways you could handle the stresses here. You could do the Premiere voice recording service. You could stress Premiere and then service. The Premiere voice recording service. That's one way you could do that. Premiere voice recording service. The other option is you could do the Premiere voice recording service. The Premiere voice recording service. I personally would probably do the first one. I kind of like that pattern more, but you could do the last one.
The Premium Voice.
Premiere. And instead of Premiere, more Premiere. In American English, more Premiere. Stress the second syllable. The Premiere.
The Premium Voice Recording Service.
Premiere. Voice. Premiere. The Premiere voice recording. I would lower the pitches there. Premiere voice recording service. And then raise pitch on service.
Voice recording service.
The other big thing here is going to be service. The first syllable, sir. Right now, you're really tense and closed off. You're doing sir, sir. See if you can hear that.
Recording service.
Service versus service. Can you hear the difference between mine and yours? Service.
Premium Voice Recording Service.
Service versus service. It could be that your V sound actually is tensing things up. Okay, so make sure when you're saying V, like v, v, you're not doing v, v, because that's sending your placement really high and closing off the throat and everything. You want to do more v, v. Okay, that's going to help. Could be the V closing things off.
Service.
Instead of vus, also, it's more short eye.
Service.
It says servus. You're doing more vus, vus. But it's going to be more short eye. This. Service. Service. Premiere voice recording service. Okay, so just a note there. Matt, if you have any questions about that, be sure to let me know. Denny had a huge life question. But Matt, thank you so much for sending the audio file. We do appreciate it. Hope to see more files from you in the future. Pineapple on pizza. Yay or nay? I'll put it this way. I've had it before. I know that, you know, I think in Italy, there's a lot of peer pressure for people to, you know, if you ask an Italian, like pineapple on pizza, like it's almost like you lose your Italian card if you're like, if you say you like it or you want to try it. Everyone's like, oh, like atrocity, tragic. How dare you, you know? But I've met Italians that actually like it secretly. But regardless, it's not my choice. Look, I'll be honest. You're asking kind of the wrong person because when I order a pizza, I usually just get like a margarita or like just like a cheese pizza. Like I don't get anything on it. I'm very plain. I'll be honest. If I do get anything toppings, I'm a fan of sausage and banana peppers. Are delicious. That's the killer combo. You want to know another killer combo? Another great combination on pizza is green bell pepper and black olive is another killer combination. Those are my combos on pizza. But if someone orders a pizza and there's pineapples on it, I'll put it this way. I would prefer the pineapple pizza to the Hawaiian pizza. I don't actually like ham on pizza. I would rather have pineapple on my pizza than ham. Honestly. Yeah. But yeah, it's not my preference, but I don't think it's horrible. I think it's fine. But it's certainly not my pizza preference. But you guys can let me know, Denny, what you doing for pizza? What is your topping of choice? Hit me up. Let me know what that is really quick. But I think we have now closed out our document. So you guys got the benefit of the late night Friday stream. You guys get me for the full almost 2 hours going on the stream. Extra time. No, you will not find it around there. But Italy was doing like the Nutella pizzas. So like when I was in Perugia, people were doing that and things. I'm like, this is kind of like I would take a pineapple pizza over a Nutella pizza. I'll be honest. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, guys, you have heard a variety of files. Thank you so much to everyone who has sent us pronunciation files today. It was relatively short notice. I posted the heads up that we're moving to Friday not that long ago, and we had tons and tons of great audio files. Kudos to everyone here. I think every file we heard was super clear. I think you all are already speaking English at a very high level that would do very well in the U.S. So keep it up. Keep in mind all those things that we mentioned about vowel sounds, placement, not letting consonants interfere with your vowel sounds. Those are all things you want to watch out for. And yeah, keep studying and use resources again like Youglish to get some other examples besides me for some of the phrases that you sent. We will be back with the Schwa Mill, another episode on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. So keep an eye out again for updates and things like that. But thank you so much for spending some time with me. I know that, look, with American English pronunciation, you guys have access to there's millions and millions of resources out there. So the fact that you chose to spend a little bit of your weekend with me, especially very early in the morning for many of you, I appreciate that. But yeah, you guys have a good day, have a good night, have a good afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Ci sentiamo fra un po'. And you guys have a good weekend, and we will talk soon. Take care.